Hello everyone, welcome to GradRight and welcome to our series that is Grad Connect. Here in this series, we interview different students who are, who are in their process of studying abroad. Like maybe they are in their application process stage, maybe they are already studying in their dream university and many more things. So we come here to provide you with a lot of information which you may need during the study abroad journey. Today we have Mr. Mridul Jain with us, and he is an incoming student for Escp Business School. His course will start from this September 2022, and I'm damn sure that you are very excited for this journey, Mridul.
Yes, I am. Thank you so much for introducing me, Yashasvi.
That's so great. Can you let us know more about yourself? That what was your graduation degree, and when did you thought that you would like to study from abroad, like masters from abroad?
Right. So my full name, I'll start with my full name. My full name is Mridul Jain, and I completed my graduation. I completed my BTech last year in 2021 in the field of electronics and communication engineering with specialization in VLSI. I did that from VIT. So that's there. Um, so during my engineering, I got more interested while doing the internships and all. I got more interested in the field of product management, and so I decided to pursue the field, like the product field itself, post my graduation. So coming from electronics background, it's really hard to make transition to that particular field because it's not what you have learned in any of those years. So with the internships experience that I had, there were four of them. There were four of them, and in the different fields, which were more related to software or tech field, uh, and majorly in startups. So I learned about how the flow of product is. So wanted to uh, I got during my engineering, basically, I learned how to build products. Now, to manage those products, I had to pursue the master in management degree. So I started preparing for my master's abroad.
Okay, thank you for giving a very great insight onto how you started
Yeah.
with the course selection process. Another thing which I would like to know, like, how did you well define that you want to go in this college itself, or did you applied or thought of applying for other colleges as well?
Well, yeah, getting into your dream college, it's a tough job and it's a hassle. And you know I started with I wanted to land into the Europe's market field, maybe in UK or other countries such as France. So I started looking at the rankings. I segregated the colleges based on the ranking itself. So I started to aim for top 5, top 10. So that was my initial goal. Majorly at first, I wanted to step into London's marketplace because it offers um, a technical variety, and it's a super hub for it's a major tech hub. So in the UK itself, and offers a good job opportunity post your masters. So for stepping into UK, I started with like I wanted to step into London, like wanted to get into London Business School. Um, so I applied in the LBS. I started preparing for that basically. Um, for that, I started preparing for GRE. I gave GRE, not GMAT. Now most people have the question that why GRE over GMAT. So the reason being is I was more familiar with GRE. I have given it 2 attempts basically, and my GRE score was around over 325. So um, at first I started with around 310. I built, I searched it up. What is the threshold GRE score that is accepted by London Business School? So it was around 320. So I was my major target was to get uh, above par. any score above par. So started preparing for that through different resources. There are a lot of options. Also, at first I started preparing for CAT, Common Admission Test. I was aiming for Indian institutes, Indian B schools. So my maths was stronger through that. My maths got stronger through that. So I was my the major part where I was lacking was my verbal section. So Greg was definitely helpful over there. Um, while preparing for GRE, I used to learn around 5, 6 words a day and how to use it basically. So, not learning new words, it's not just the right way. You have to know how you can use it in the sentences as well. So that's what GRE tests basically. So after my first GRE attempt, I started preparing. I made an Excel sheet wherein I noted down on the one column. I noted down all the marks that I've given. I've given 20 around 20 marks in a in 2 months period, and I noted down all the scores and I reviewed each of them. So my score, what I felt was my score was diagnostic after diagnostic test. So test is basically that you give at the first as a first mock, right? So you start from around I started from around 305. In the mid, I gave my GRE first time. I got 310. Then I hopped on to, I my final attempt, I scored around 327. So that was my GRE part. IELTS, I was pretty much clear that I was if I score 6.5 in each section, I would make it to one of the dream college. So I applied to LPS through so when you apply to LPS, so there are a lot of questions that LPS asks, and when you are preparing for LPS, more or less your each and every application to other campuses will be somehow prepared. I mean, you will be prepared for the other applications because LBS asks around 15 questions that has to be answered in a detailed manner, uh, while the other colleges ask around 2 3 questions, sorry. So that's the case. While applying for LBS, I got into LPS to the interview part. My application was selected, couldn't make it through the interview. It was really intense, and was my first experience, was my first interview experience basically. So couldn't get into that. But yeah, I got good experience of giving the interview. And I applied to different colleges. Escp was one of those. And you know France marketplace, the e-commerce sector has a lot of potential. So basically I wanted to and apart from that, ESCP has also a campus in London. So post my graduation, I can work in London marketplace while learning about French culture. So that was my that's when I made the decision that I want to land when I want to take an admit in this particular school. So that's there. So yeah. Apart from those, I prepared my applications. Yeah, coming to my application part, essays and all. So for my essays, I took help from my friends. Basically, I started at first. I used to research about the college. What is it offering to the students, and how it will align with my career goals basically. So let's say I want to step into product management or consulting. So are there any incubators that it's offering, or events that it's conducting, the teachers that are teaching the product management subject? So I used to research about those teachers, professors. Sorry. So after researching those, I had to put it all in those applications that I've done. So the colleges will know that I have done my research, I'm well prepared for this college, and I really want to secure an admit from the in this particular college. So they will know your interest basically, and that's what college want. They will check your interest, and if you are willing and interested, if you're sounding interested, and you're bringing diversity, because coming from an engineering background, it's really hard to get into any field because there are a lot of engineers, let's say. So you have to separate yourself from the crowd. So that's how you do it. You research each aspect of the college, you put it all in your essays, and you will actually get your admit, at least the interview call. Now comes the interview part. So interview part was like it was a 20 minutes interview for me, wherein I was grilled on recent news. I They asked me around what all recent news I'm familiar with. So that time, it was the supply chain crisis that was going on, so I was familiar with that topic, and I was well versed with that. So they asked me questions around those. What is supply chain crisis? What how can you solve certain, like there were cross questioning on that matter. Another thing that ESCP questions, like the panel questions their students, the admits, is that are you like based what all internships that you have done, and what all experience you face, and what all learning key takeaways from those particular internships. So you have to answer it point wise. That's that's how you present yourself in an interview. That's what I learned from my past experience. um, uh, yeah, so internships should be, what I would suggest students is that before the interview, prepare a small brief summary of each and every internship that you have done so far, so that whenever question shoots up, you're already prepared with the what you have to cover, what all points you have to cover in those. And yeah, so there's another aspect, so resume building. So you should, in while during an interview, you should not speak whatever is already there in the resume. You should speak on those lines, but not the exact words of those resume that you have given, that you have submitted already. So um, yeah, let's say for example, I have written in my resume that I have um, made this effort to contribute to 20% growth in this particular segment of the company. So you cannot mention that in the interview that I have contributed 20%, whatever shit. So that's that. So you don't have to be rhetoric. That's the case. Yeah, so that was pretty much my experience while getting into securing an admit into ESCP. Yeah.
Definitely, I guess you pretty much covered everything, like from the application process to the interview
Yes.
experience and everything, definitely. And that is very informative. The next point I would like to, if you can share insiders, like, about have you started your visa application process? And also, yeah, first about this.
Not yet. I'm actually looking into the visa process. I'll start it now because the commencement date is 6th September, so should basically start on 6th of June. So it's because for your students are applicable for you students can apply for visa just before the 3 months, within 3 months before the commencement date. So that's the case, so I'll start working on it now. But what I'm sure of is that for France, people those who are going to France, maybe HEC Paris or ESCP or ESSEC, one thing is for sure that you have to build an account, make an account on Campus France. You have to answer certain questions that you have already written. That's not an issue. You have to submit certain documents regarding related to your admission, securing an admit from, let's say for in my case that I've secured an admit, whatever document I have submitted during my admission process, I will have to submit it again on the campus transfer portal. So it's a, the embassy, like it's an embassy portal wherein they can access all the information. Now after that, you have to pay a certain amount. I'm not sure, it's around 15,000 for France. There are different amounts for different countries. So for France it's around 15,000. uh, After that, you'll get a slot booking for VFS. VFS is like government affiliated, like embassy affiliated thing, visa services somewhat. So wherein you have to go to certain VFS visa facility service. So you have to go to those VFS center, and you have to provide them with your biometric and other documents that are required. Documents like passport, or ITR as in, will you be able to fund your education on your own, or you taking if you're taking loan, yeah, then you have to provide them the loan acceptance letter, education loan acceptance letter. So those all things that you have to do apart. And then again, for the VFS thing, you have to pay at least 10,000, and VFS is common for all the countries. So let's say it works like there is a portal, there are portals like Campus France for each and every country. And then after those after registering on those portals, VFS will access all the documents that you have submitted. And you have to go to VFS, whether you're going to US or France or UK. You have to go to VFS center. You have to provide them with your biometric and submit all the documents, get it checked. Then I think you're done with that. It's around what I've gathered from the information that I have so far is that it's around a 2 to 3 weeks process and all. But for that, you have to get ready with all the documents. You should have your flight ticket, your accommodation details. For in my case, for ESCP, there's no hostel facility. For ASIC, it's there. The hostel facility is in the campus. So the accommodation is already being done from their end. But for ESCP, we have to students from ESCP, they have to find their own accommodation. So it's a rigorous task. That's what I'm currently doing. So I know of that. So I have to show them my accommodation, um, basically my proof of accommodation. So that's there, my visa ticket, one-way ticket basically. And yeah, and maybe some documents related to my funding and all, my loan letter, and my ITR of my dad and all. So that's that. Apart from that, people are going to France, especially France. So government of the French government offers the CAF allowance for on the student accommodation. So it's around 100 to 200 euros based on your accommodation. So you get allowance from the French government that you're coming over here and staying as a student. So you get certain amount of money. So 100 to 200 euro, it's a lot. It's a big amount. So for a student, right? Sorry. So so that's there. For this particular, for getting the CAF allowance, it's a rigorous task. That's what I gathered. But for this, you'll need your birth certificate in the being translated into French and get it apostilled by a French embassy. So that's a whole process. That's a whole different process that you might have to search it about. So that's
Okay, again, this was like the complete process you explained. My next point comes about finances. So, how are you managing your finances? Are you applying for some study abroad loans or something like that?
well,
Or
yes.
maybe.
Due to loans, it becomes easy, your visa process and all, because you have to show at least certain funds during your visa process. It's for living expenses, you might, the French government asks for 615 euros per month. You should have that much amount for the stay period that you're living in France. For example, I'm staying for my first 2 semesters in Paris, so I have to provide 615 euros per month into 12. So that much I have to show in my account for the living expenses. Apart from that, if I'm not going through loan, then I have to show around my 1 year of tuition fee in those as well. So it becomes, it's a burdensome process for parents. So I opted for loan on. And the best part of education loan is that it comes on you, not on your parents. So that, because I'm liable to pay that much money. So I have applied to loan. I come from Rajasthan, and most people suggested me to go for different banks, but I opted for Bank of Baroda. Yeah, because I gathered the Bank of Baroda is the right choice with the less return of the interest rate and all. So, uh, what I would suggest students is that there is a facility that is provided by government free of cost, where you can get the guidance regarding the loan and all. There's We Make Scholar. There's a website. There's a portal. You can go onto the platform and register yourself, submit all the documents. Those people will reach you out and help you with all the options, the education loan options. And if you get the visa process, the loan process is done through them, you'll get certain benefits in terms of monetary benefits, basically. So that's the We Make Scholars. So yeah, that's the case. Yeah.
Thank you so much for providing a whole complete information, from start till end. So I guess these were all of my questions. Now to conclude, if I ask you to just share a personal piece of advice to other students who are currently, in their preparation stage or applying stage, so what would you like to share to them?
Yeah, don't get demotivated from from being rejected. It's a part of process, basically. I have applied to around 6 colleges and I've got only one admit with a great score of GRE. So um, GRE is not of that much value, but on the other hand, you should look at, if you're scoring good, you should look at, it's an additional point. And if you're not scoring good, then it's not a worrisome thing. You can cover all those points in your application part. So yeah, that's it. And don't get afraid of interviews. That's what I learned. And yeah, another thing is, yeah, rejections are part of process. So uh, yeah, it's basically that, you don't be afraid of that. Face that.
Thank you so much for this insightful session. I guess now we can end this session. So yeah, thank you so much for giving us your valuable time.
Thank you so much, Yashasvi.